How's it going, YouTube? Navysooner here. Today we're going to be talking about this rifle right here. Looks like an AR. Kind of feels like an AR, but is it really an AR? Let's get into it. What we are looking at here is the M&P15-22 Sport. There are a bunch of different variations of the M&P15-22 Sport, mostly with like things that can be added to it or that come with it. Nothing major that's different from the factory. Like I was saying before, this is an AR style rifle that shoots .22 long rifle. When I say AR style, I mean like it kind of looks like an AR, but the action is different. It doesn't fit to any other AR, lower or upper. They don't interchange. There are AR parts that interchange, but it's not an actual AR. It's a .22 long rifle that looks like an AR. It's got a 16.5 inch barrel, which is carbon steel. That's all that the website for Smith & Wesson said. I'm not a metallurgist. I don't know exactly what comes with it. Some people might know, but I just know that it's carbon steel. The barrel is threaded, which means you can take off this birdcage flash hider here and you can put on whatever muzzle device you'd like that is AR style. It's got the same thread pitch as a 5.56 AR-15. It has a polymer M-LOK handguard here, which you can attach accessories to that are M-LOK. The buffer tube is mil-spec. It's not really a tube because it doesn't have a buffer spring or a buffer weight in there. That being said, you can put on any buttstock that can go onto a mil-spec buffer tube. It also comes with this A2 pistol grip here. Now, when you purchase this, what you get with it is one magazine. This specific model here came with this MP100 red dot. It's a red-green dot from Smith & Wesson itself. You can get it with many different things on it, like Magpul M-Bus backup sights or a bag, or there's even a model that comes with a 4x scope and a bipod on the end of it. There's an MOE version that's specific to a certain retailer. It also comes with M-LOK 1913 piece. M-LOK 1913 piece, I mean, you attach the 1913 piece to the M-LOK and you can put accessories on that 1913 piece of rail that attaches to the M-LOK. I personally purchased this firearm from Cabela's during their 2A sale, and it was $280, I believe is what the price was. Don't remember exactly, but I think that's what it was. Don't have the receipt. I can go look at my credit card statement, but I don't really want to do that. Whatever. But these usually run, this one itself on Cabela's website runs $359. I think you can find it for around like $320, or places like on Palmetto State Armory. They have deals on these all the time. The version that comes with a bag for some reason is like $450 on Cabela's website. Don't know why. And there's a bunch of different colors that you can get with it. Like Muddy Girl is one of them, which is kind of, I mean, just go buy pink and purple paint and splatter it and you'll save money right there. Before we go on with the video, I'm just letting you know that I have a Subscribestar and a Patreon account. Figured out how to make the links below. Come to find out, I've been making them the whole time. I just didn't realize that it doesn't make the links whenever I'm uploading the video, but there are links below now. So go subscribe to my Subscribestar or my Patreon account. That way I can keep this channel up and running. Thank you to the one guy that is my only Patreon follower, and I really appreciate it. And once I get more followers, then we're going to start putting extra content there. I'm going to put content there before I release it on YouTube, and I'm going to start doing giveaways once I start getting enough people to be able to do giveaways. Now we're going to get into the likes of this gun. My first major like about this gun is it's just as accurate as any rack grade 10-22. Not talking about the ones with the really nice barrels on them, but this is just as accurate. So having an AR-15 style 22 long rifle that is just as accurate as a 10-22 that's right off the shelf is pretty nice. I like that it comes with AR style mags. There are some dislikes about this magazine, but for the most part, it's really nice to be able to practice reloading or the same manual of arms that you can with an AR, because you have magazines that look similar to regular AR magazines. What else do I like about this gun? Well, it's got the same manual of arms as an AR-15. You've got the same safety on the left side of the gun. You have a bolt catch here that works. You can change out the stock and the pistol grip to any stock or pistol grip that you like. I kept the A2 pistol grip on here. I'm going to be changing it out for the Magpul K2 Plus pistol grip because it's more of a vertical angle, and that's what I have on most of my other firearms that are AR-15s. And like I said before, you can change out the flash hider to whatever muzzle device you want. Now, 22 long rifle doesn't really put out that much flash, and you don't really need a muzzle brake for kick or anything like that. But if you're wanting to suppress it, most suppressors you have to have a host muzzle device, and you can change that out for that. You use the same manual of arms for the charging handle, and the triggers, you can change out the triggers on these for any AR-15 trigger. I don't know about like drop-in triggers that are a group altogether. I do know that I put a Geisley trigger in here and it worked just fine. Something else that I like about this firearm is you can use this for multiple different things. You can put a scope on there and use it for killing rabbits and squirrels for food or to get out of your garden or whatnot. You can use it to train people that have never shot an AR-15 before, that are like, I don't know, scared of the blast of an AR-15, and this can get them used to that. Not the blast, but used to using an AR-15. That way, whenever they do actually pick up an AR-15, they already know how to use it and have this manual of arms ingrained in them, so that when the blast comes, they're like, oh, well, that's not so bad. That being said, with recoil on a regular 5.56 223 isn't so bad, but this would be a great firearm for a first gun for a kid that wants to get into AR-15s. A lot of people do like single shot Rascals or 10-22s. I'm not going to let this be like a first firearm for my kids, but it's going to be like their first AR-15. That way they learn how to use the manual of arms for an AR-15. Another thing that you can use this for is what I've been using it for. Lately, there has been a shortage of ammunition because people are scared for no reason. I understand that what's going on out there is pretty scary, but there's an ammo shortage because people are being idiots. That being said, this can be used for training purposes when there is a small supply of 5.56, 223, whatever. And I've been shooting with this on my land and having a good time. I still shoot my 5.56s and 223s, but this, I don't mind throwing 300 rounds of 22 long rifle in like 20 minutes downrange while I'm practicing. Something that I like about this firearm that's specific to this model is I don't have to go out and buy another red dot. The one that came on it looks cheap, but for a 22 long rifle, it works just fine, and I don't have to go out and buy another red dot. Now, if I really want to get down to brass tacks and training exactly how my AR is set up, I can go and get whatever red dot I want to put on here, and then I can train like that. For the purposes of what this gun is for, this red dot works just fine. Now we're going to get into the dislikes of this firearm. I don't know if any of y'all know much about knives, but carbon steel on knives is very prone to rusting. Now, they are very easy to sharpen, but we're not worrying about sharpening a barrel. That is a big thing to me. you're going to need to keep oil inside the barrel if you're not going to be shooting it. And you need to make sure that you clean it out when you're shooting it, because 22 long rifle is a dirty, dirty round. And carbon steel can foul real easily. What else I dislike about this gun is it is very light. Now, training on how I'm going to use my AR-15s with this, it's not completely exact one-to-one training, obviously, because I don't have the same red dot, but the weight of it is very light. And another obvious is 22 long rifle doesn't have as much kick, but the weight of this is very light because everything on here is polymer except for the barrel and the chamber and the actual bolt carrier. So that's something that, I mean, I think they could maybe put a little weight somewhere, I don't know, but it's very, very light. And if you're training to use this like your regular AR-15, you're gonna pick up your regular AR-15 after you've been training with this for forever and be like, oh, this is heavy. So definitely a dislike for the weight. Another dislike, I have not had any issues with this, but I have read online and I have seen on YouTube, people are having issues with the extractor on this version of the 1522. Previous versions did not have any issues, but I haven't had any issues with it. So I personally cannot call that a dislike, but I heard that they can go bad, and they do sell new extractors. I forget the company, I'll annotate it in editing and tell you what company it is that makes the extractors, but you can go and get new extractors if you really want to. And like I said, I haven't had any issues. If I do, I know where to go. They're very cheap. I don't know how hard it is to change these out, but I don't think it should be too hard. Another dislike that I have for this firearm is the magazines are not drop free. I'm pressing the magazine release button and they're not dropping free. You have to rip them out. Now, if you're training with this to be like your AR-15 that you are fighting with, then that's going to be an issue. There are times where AR-15 mags don't completely fall out and you rip them out, but most of the time they do fall out. And these are very tight fitting when you put them into the firearm and try and do quick mag changes. Speaking of the magazines, what I don't like about them is that these are wide open to debris and dirt and can cause some issues if you are running them in a dirty environment. That is there because it has these little tabs to be able to pull down the follower so you can add rounds to it if you're having a problem with that. The only issue is dirt can get in there. Yeah, I can see you. Something that I dislike about this firearm that is specific to this model alone is the red dot. Not the red dot itself. It works great. It's got red and green and it works for what I need it for. The problem with it is it has batteries that are not any other batteries that I carry on me. I carry AA, AAA, CR123, and 20, I forget the other one, I'll annotate it below. But this one comes with CR1622 batteries. Now, I'm not going to be taking this into battle, but it still is one more type of battery that I need to carry on me, or not really carry on me, but to have in my possession for when this goes down. I'm pretty sure that the battery life on this red dot isn't as good as, say, an Aimpoint or a Holosun. Now, I could go with a different red dot, but that would defeat the purpose of buying this model alone, and this was one of the cheapest ones, so I'm okay with that, and I can just go buy some more if I really needed to. Now we're going to get into reliability after I've told you my likes and dislikes. I've shot 2,200 rounds through this, roughly, not exactly, somewhere give or take, maybe 50 to 60 somewhere, but I have shot around 2,200 rounds through this, and I've not had any issues with malfunctions. The only problem I've had with this is ammunition related. I was using the Winchester 222 box, the 222 round box. Out of that box, I had multiple rounds that failed to fire when I pulled the trigger. It was not the firearm itself's fault. I tested some of the rounds in my 10-22 as well, and sure enough, it was that box. I never had any issues with that type of ammunition before. I'm guessing it was just a certain lot out of that box, but I never had any issues reliability-wise with this. That was the problem of the firearm itself. I even ran subsonic rounds through this, and it held the bolt to the rear after the last round. So that is pretty nice. Now there are other options that you can go with. One of those options is a CMMG conversion kit, where it gives you a bolt carrier and an extension to go into your AR-15's barrel, and you can shoot 22 long rifle through that using the same upper and the same lower. It's just a drop-in bolt carrier, and I believe they come with 3 magazines. The problem with that conversion is 223 ammunition isn't exactly 223 diameter, it is 224. 22 long rifle is .223. Now you're going to have a little bit of a discrepancy when it comes to getting the bullet to have proper rotation out of the firearm, and you're not going to be as accurate. Now, if you're just using it for CQB training purposes, it's great. Don't have any issues with it. You could go with the Tippmann M422. Those things are pretty cool. I like them. They have the same weight as a regular AR-15, and you can put in any trigger you want into them. Their magazines, they don't have a way of mud or debris getting into them. The problem with them is they are about $200 to $300 more expensive. What I am using my 15-22 for, that is a very steep price, especially for people that are just getting into firearms and want something for training or want something to mimic an AR-15 so that they can get used to it. There are dedicated uppers that you can get, like CMMG has them, Palmetto State Armory, there's other brands out there. The problem with the CMMG one is it is the same price as the full Tippmann firearm. So if you're going to pay that much, I would just go buy the Tippmann. Or you could pay about $200 to $300 less and get the M&P15-22. The Palmetto State Armory upper is about the same price as the 15-22. So you might as well just go buy a full 15-22. You can drop the PSA upper onto any lower that's an AR-15 style, and you can use your AR-15 lower, which is pretty cool. But I prefer to have just a full firearm that I can hand to people and I can still hold on to my AR-15. There are other complete firearms out there, like HK makes one that looks like their version of the 5.56, I believe, and the problem with all of those is there's something different about them, like the charging handle doesn't work the same, or the bolt catch doesn't work the same, or it doesn't work at all. And that's a reason that I went with the 15-22, because it all works exactly like an AR-15. Now there is no forward assist on the 15-22, but that's not a big deal at all to me when it comes to shooting a 22 long rifle. Now my thoughts on what you should do with the M&P 15-22. Should you buy one? Should you get something else? I think that these are easier to get a hold of than the Tippmanns. I really like the Tippmann, but the Tippmanns are hard to find, and if you do find them, are they in stock? After Such did a review on them, they've gotten pretty hard to find now, but I still think for the price, this is a great firearm and you should go buy one. Now that's just my opinion. If you don't like it, don't get your panties in a bunch. This is my opinion. I may be biased because I purchased this with my own money, but I still believe that this is a good firearm for training purposes. Well, all that being said, Navysooner out.